Everyone's favorite menace is back again. I'm kidding. Sometimes it's fine. So, I was going to continue doing the what you think you're subscribing to versus what you're actually subscribing to, but honestly, I feel like it was accurate enough. Like, people know what they get when they come here, what they're getting. So, cool. As long as it's not the first time, I guess Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands at the cut. Interesting. So I'm using the Tarot Apocalypsis. Oh, crap. I was using the Tarot Apocalypsis because I was getting Helios and the Children of Helios, more specifically, have been coming out lately. Helios actually might be in this deck, but Helios isn't on the Sun card. So that's why I wish they just had I wish they had a list of all of the characters who are featured. Apollo might be the King of Cups, maybe? Oh, bro, not my book falling apart. It ain't even being used like that. Apollo is the King of Cups, not the Sun, which is interesting. Interesting. But that's because the King of Cups in this deck is the King of Cups. So, or the Sun is the Sun. So I'm going to do the thing that I was talking about doing, and I'm going to do it in the order. I'm going to do Sun, and then Libra, and then Aries. So it'll be the Sun, and then Justice, and then the Emperor. And I'm going to pull before and after. And what I'm going to do is, since I'm pulling in that order, I'm going to shuffle the deck in between pulls. I'm also going to take the top of the deck and the bottom of the deck each time. So if we lose a significator, then I guess it was meant to be lost. Also, there are no current plans to deal with the hair situation, but it will be taken care of at its time. I know I'm in need of a retwist. No one's telling me. I just know. We have another feminine on the throne. The Queen of Wands came out. I believe she's Hathor. I'm pretty sure she's Hathor. And the bottom of the deck is the Six of Wands. And it's another feminine energy on the throne, just like the Six of Wands in the SKT. Interesting. I'm not going to take these because I'm not starting yet. But it is interesting. Cool. And that is what we'll do. Ace of Swords at the cut with the Six of Wands now. All of the aces. Okay. So one more. We're going to cut there. Take the card at the top. At the top of the deck is the Prince of Wands. I'm going to do the Sun in the middle, and then Libra, and then Aries. Which is set. Bottom of the deck is the Hierophant. Oof. Now, am I going to look from the top or the bottom? I'm going to look from the bottom because it's quicker. And I'm going to try to get right into it. Looking for the Sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Just past Aries. Okay. So before the Sun is the Four of Pentacles. And then there's the Sun, which is Mithras in this deck. And then we have that Ace of Swords. It's interesting that we have runes with the Ace of Swords because that Knight of Swords has been giving this energy. Okay. Now I'm going to look before and after Justice. Oh, bottom of the deck is here. Bottom of the deck is Death. So again, another major at the bottom of the deck. Excuse me. Top of the deck is the Prince of Cups, which is Eros, Cupid. So there's a prince that came out and a major at the bottom of the deck. Last time it was the Prince of Wands. And the major was the Hierophant, which is a 5. Justice is a 4. All right. Now I'm looking for Justice. Did I say Justice is a 4? Death is a 4. Oh, we found Justice already. So before Justice is the Hanged Man. And then we have Justice, of course. This time, Mott with the scales. This is such like a cosmic Justice energy. This is interesting. Just real quick, because this Justice, this is giving me Osiris. And so we've seen Isis, and we know that the magic of Isis is resurrection. So it's interesting that Mott would be here. I feel like my voice just echoed. It's interesting that Mott would be here because even if this resurrection is to occur, even if there is a magic being done to resurrect Osiris, it's almost like he still, I don't know if it's the reverse process. Because like if you die, your heart is weighed. And then if it's heavier, one thing, if it's lighter, another thing. It's just like there's an intermediary or there's a check that still needs to be met, regardless of whoever is doing whatever. And then after Justice is the Ten of Swords, which is numerologically equivalent to the Ace of Swords. So we go from the 4 and the 4 of Pentacles to the 3 and the Hanged Man. Just like we went from the 5 of the Hierophant to the 4 of the 13 of Death. We have the Ace of Swords and the Ten of Swords. Both are 1. Oh, this is the Death. Oh, and then Death literally came out. I forgot. Death was at the bottom of the deck. So we have these 2 Death energies. Now in this Ten of Swords, we have a Valkyrie that's coming to get the soul of the man. And then on the other side, we have this Hanged Man, which is an almost limbo. Now let's do this one more time to get the Emperor. And I will read these, and this will be not 5 hours. This will definitely not be 5 hours. I will find a way to make this 6. Okay, one more. And top of the deck is the Queen of Cups for Aries, which is Cancerian energy. Bottom of the deck is the Lovers. So again, there's always a major at the bottom of the deck. And this is a 6. We have 6, 5, 4. So again, it was the Sun in the middle, Libra on the bottom, and Aries on top. So the majors numerologically go 6, 5, 4. But instead of Libra being the 4 of the Emperor, it's the 4 of Death. which may also mean something. It's interesting nonetheless. And then there's all court cards. We've broken the pattern of princes, but we've got court cards that were at the top of the deck. Wow. Maybe I should have mentioned these because I feel like Aries has like power cards at the bottom of the deck. Looking for that Emperor. So this one is different. Well, I guess we didn't really have the pattern. Oh, let me pick it up. We have the Four of Wands, which is a repeat offender lately, which isn't like for a card to like the Four of Wands is probably a card that we want to see often. It's one of the better cards. The Four of Wands that came before. Four of Wands, Four of Pentacles, and then the Three of the Hanged Man. Here's the Four of the Emperor, which is like a proto-Thor, I think. I don't remember his name. Sorry. And then we have Judgment. So Judgment, the Ace of Swords, and the Ten of Swords are the cards to the right. I'll read these from top to bottom, from left to right. So from top left to bottom right. And I'm going to go down. So top left, middle left, bottom left. I was like, I don't know why I was blanking on bottom left. Top left, middle left, bottom left, leftmost side, and then I'll go down and I'll go across. So we have the Queen of Cups, the Prince of Pentacles, and the Prince of Cups, the Four of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and the Hanged Man, the Emperor, the Sun, and Justice, not injustice. Judgment, the Ace of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Lovers, the Hierophant, and Death. The Tower and the Nine of Pentacles are what's left. This is the card before, and this is the card after the after. That's fine. I guess I'm putting the Nine of Pentacles on top. Let's see. So this is the binary energy. Because I guess that's a thing now. What does it mean? I don't know. Well, I wonder if it almost means that maybe our eyes have adjusted to the dark. Where the moon is so bright that it appears as if it were another sun. So Sun in Aries is giving the Four of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, Judgment, and the Ace of Swords. Queen of Cups, Prince of Wands. So the Queen of Cups would be the vision. The Prince of Wands would be the action to fulfill the vision. The Lovers, it's interesting that the Lovers come out before the Hierophant. This isn't Eris. Who is this? Is this Venus? With that golden apple of discord? Yeah, it's Aphrodite. Goddess of love, beauty, and emotion. Venus is in Pisces right now. By the way, if you didn't know. This is just like straight orange juice. There's an interesting story here. There's almost like this, as an aside, there's almost like this past life lover energy because the Hierophant in this deck, and I just watched, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it. I just watched a documentary here on YouTube about reincarnation and um, the reincarnation of certain leaders in Buddhism and how they consciously reincarnate to the point of like predicting where they will next incarnate. And this comes out under the levers, right? And we have the Four of Wands here, also with this Judgment and the Ace of Swords. No, this ain't that kind of channel. So the levers is about alignment, choices, and decisions and commitments. Again, I guess it's not like usually the lovers get together and then they go before the Hierophant to officiate and make official their union. So it's not super whatever. And I guess I shouldn't necessarily read this as one above the other. It's just like them together. This is the energy of the sun in Aries, the sun, solar energy, and the energy of Aries, right? So both the lovers and the Hierophant have such a long-standing energy. It's definitely something that has lasting power at the bottom of the deck. At the top of the deck, it's actually kind of beautiful. Regardless of the fact that this is set, I guess I'm not necessarily looking at the characters and the cards as much as I am just the energies. I just chose this because it has Helios in it, and the children of Helios again has been a thing. But with the Queen of Cups, it's like there's the emotion, and then with the Prince of Wands, it's not only the desire but also the action. So it's almost like the things that were being in this Aries, Libra, binary, whatever. I still don't have a name for it. It's about like on the surface level, the things that we are emotionally drawn to enough to put action behind the passion and desire. These things have the capability and the capacity to last for a lifetime because it's the lovers and the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck. The lovers and the Hierophant almost like, again, almost in like everything in my life has been leading up to this moment type energy, or has been putting me in a position to align with this and to be able to make that choice, and decision, or call. Now, if we look at the actual energies, again, we have the Four of Wands on one side and Judgment on the other around Aries with the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. Now, the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords around the Sun could be like the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords together could be an energy of someone or something that is withheld for a reason, right? The Four of Pentacles can be miserly and it can be like stingy and selfish. But with the Ace of Swords, there's an element of logic. I also see like the Four of Swords in the Wado Known Tarot. Did I say the Four of Swords? The Four of Pentacles? And the Wada Known Tarot, how all the pentacles are like linked together. This Ace of Swords is cutting something, which is opening something up. Now, also with Judgment here, the Four of Wands. So we get two marriage cards, two cards that could be associated with marriage and relationships in the Lovers and in the Four of Wands. This Judgment feels more like a recognition, though. And that would make sense. I feel like there's also so much recognition with this Judgment energy I think the Two of Swords is Moon in Libra, but I'm not sure. I have a way to check real quick. I think I might pull before and after the Two of Swords too, just to get the Moon in Libra to account for full Moon Libra. Oh, I didn't want to go all the way back. I just meant to open this back up. There we go. Oh no, I gotta scroll down again. She's not giving me what I want. What I want. Ooh. I think that is the final design. I'm like, I really love that one. Okay. I'm pretty sure. I'm fairly certain that the two, at least for today, the Two of Swords is going to be Moon and Libra. I mean, I literally have this here. It's fine. We can get there. We'll get there when we get there. I feel like Judgment is coming out with an element of clarity, and maybe the clarity belongs to the Ace of Swords too. Like this is a nest egg type energy. So, like, if there's been a nest egg that's been built, or if there's been a reservedness that's been maintained, or that's been held, and with the elephant in this particular Four of Pentacles, like it was the right choice. I'm getting like wisdom from the elephants, or from this elephant here. Like it was for a reason. And the sun with this is the reason. Interesting. So obviously, this doesn't have to be a relationship. It can also be something like a job or a career. But this, or like a line of work, and it reads like a line of work that someone would be passionate about, that would also engage them emotionally, like work that someone cares about and that they're passionate about. And it could be work that's related to their purpose, almost like literally, like this is why I was put on earth. And maybe things haven't worked out in other situations, but it's almost like there's a stockpiling of experiences, or a stockpiling of knowledge that's been happening in whatever is going to be coming out. But this full moon Aries, full moon Libra, especially on the Aries Libra side, but Aries is Aries. It's almost like that is, there's also like an alignment, like things meeting up. And because things are meeting up and because things are making sense, that's what makes Judgment feel like this aha moment. Now, Sun in Libra opposing it is interesting. So again, the Sun is the Prince of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the Hierophant. Libra is the Prince of Cups, the Hanged Man, the Ten of Swords, and Death. Now, both the Prince of Cups and the Hanged Man are cards of Pisces. Prince as a knight, mutable, water. And then the Hanged Man is like water, or Neptune, and or Pisces. Then we have Death and the Ten of Swords, which are both cards that typically, I mean, death is death, so it doesn't necessarily depict death, but the Ten of Swords depicts a death. This is so interesting. Because it's almost like something had to die in order for something else to be born. It's like one dream had to end, or one dream gives way as another dream sort of like takes its place. And maybe that's related to this like aha moment of the judgment card, or the realization of the grand design, or the grand, like the bigger picture in our lives. The grand design is a little much, but the grand design as it pertains to us, like, oh, this is why I did this, witnessed that, experienced this other thing, met this person, took that job, gathered all this, whatever. Like, this is why it hasn't been working. Now, death also involves rebirth in the death card. And in this Ten of Swords, we see someone that is recognized for their valiant spirit by the Valkyrie. So this warrior will live to fight again. But either way, it's like it's about getting something out of it. Like learning the lesson, or seeing the lesson, or recognizing that this ending involves a lesson. There's something that we can take away from it. And then we have the Hanged Man and the Prince of Cups. The Hanged Man and the Prince of Cups together almost feel like giving in areas and environments and situations where it can't be received. Or it could symbolize holding back in those arenas. It's like it's not so withdrawn that it won't reach out with that Prince of Cups energy, but it's also like not necessarily likely to fully commit. Now, this Hanged Man in particular, because of how this Hanged Man is almost like freely giving itself to the flames, it gives this one an interesting energy. Almost. It's almost as if there's a little bit of madness here. It's also interesting that Libra would be coming out with the energy of Pisces, because Pisces was like the last season. Pisces was the previous season. Now, in the previous season, again, like in Pisces season, that Virgo full moon was giving me Sun in Virgo. Sun in Virgo opposed Sun in Pisces. And then I started seeing it everywhere. This one, it came out once. The Sun was next to Justice, and I was like, oh, maybe it's the same. But this isn't a Hanged Man. This isn't a Hanged Man that is upside down. This is a Hanged Man. It's almost, especially because of the Prince of Wands, if I'm reading these together. Like, this is a Hanged Man that operates differently. Because, like, they're walking on their own 2 feet like everyone else. And I don't know if it's because their eyes are closed, but it's like there's a movement in this Hanged Man. That's what I might have to read. Excuse me. With the Four of Pentacles and Ace of Swords, this Libra energy is so weird. I'm almost like, is it weird because this isn't also Sun and Libra energy? Or is this weird just because I can't? You know what I mean? See, the Hanged Man and the Ten of Swords and death, like, it's almost like someone who's away from their body. And because they're away from their body, the body can experience things that that a conscious mind that inhabited that body would not be able to tolerate. And it's almost like because it's what it does to the psyche. It's almost like it would be something that damages the psyche more than it necessarily harms the body. To not think torture would be coming in. But it's like the mind, the spirit is away from the body, and without the spirit, the body is just a hunk of flesh. I guess Easter is like gonna be an Aries. I don't know if Easter is necessarily always an Aries season. Easter is like early this year. Easter is what, a week from now? A week and a half from now? Because it's like, when I think of Jesus on the cross, I don't know if it's because I heard it or if it's because my mom said it or because it's what I would have hoped. But in my mind, it's almost like in those final moments, like the spirit of Jesus would have been removed from his body so that he didn't have to feel everything that his body went through. Now, there are already like 10 swords in this man, or 9. There's already plenty of swords in this man's body as his soul is being pulled out. But maybe it's pulled out enough that after the first few, he stopped feeling it. But again, it's because the hanged man is about to walk into the fire. It's almost like while the soul and the spirit is away from the body can go through whatever, and there be virtually no reaction. This is still interesting though, because I'm like, well, what that is? What's that? I'm gonna look at the hanged man. I should probably look at my phone. Maybe we'll see. Did I not do my Spanish lesson? I guess I did. It's time to do some Spanish after this. Oh, here's the hanged man right here. I opened up to the page on like the revelation of the hanged man. The sun dance of the North American Plains nation. Well, maybe I'm not too far off. Because so before or after, the energy of Libra is a Plains nation Native American doing a sun dance. So, sun in Libra. Cool. Let's see. Ramadan and Lent are also going on right now. The revelation of the hanged man, sacrifice and offering, learning what one values by being forced to give something up, letting go and giving in to a higher power, suspension of activity, a dark night of the soul, achieving mystical awareness through spiritual isolation or suffering, a time of difficulty and an ordeal resulting in increased understanding, seeing things from a different perspective. Not justice. I went a little too far. So, in every soul there is a storm bringing clouds and rain. Night comes like a bride to her lover and surrounds the spirit in suffering. I don't feel like reading the rest of this. Maybe it was just that it's a Sundance. Oh, we've seen the Rainmaker. We've been seeing the Rainmaker quite a bit in the Mystical Shaman Oracle, along with the Sorcerer. And I already know what this Ten of Swords is. It's the Valkyrie. Maybe there is an element of justice here being carried out. And then here we see it's giving me the vibes of, even not, because I'm pretty sure the scales of Anubis are used to evaluate the dead. So there's a death energy even here in this justice card. But because the Valkyrie is taking the soul of this man, we know that he's been deemed as worthy. Because that's the only time. Hey David, how you doing? Because that's the only time that the Valkyries would deal with men, with people, humans. Really. When they were being whisked away to Valhalla. Now, this death is Santa Muerte. I did say that there was like well, that was more like a relationship. But because the hermit, or sorry, because the Hierophant is here, I keep calling the hermit the Hierophant. And I guess now I'm calling the Hierophant the hermit. Because the Hierophant is here with an energy that could be like reincarnation, this is maybe giving a rebirth. So with both of these together, this could definitely be like, if you believe in reincarnation, or if you believe in being able to live life at least more than once. See, this is almost the energy of that one spread, though. Um, excuse me. Like, this would be, it's almost like the activation of a sleeper cell type energy, but I feel like that's a little wild. Talents, gifts, skills, abilities, things that you've been naturally good at for forever with maybe no reason why. Maybe the reason why will be illuminated. And again, it's almost wrapped up in this Four of Pentacles, Ace of Swords energy. Like the Ace of Swords with the Four of Pentacles is to understand now, or to understand why things have been a certain way. And this Four of Pentacles in this deck especially, it doesn't have the same energy of stagnancy that a lot of Fours of Pentacles can read as. So with the Sun in Libra side, this may be a remembrance. Now, in the same incarnation, this could be something as simple as, like, all of this together has almost given me the energy of the Six of Cups and the Eight of Wands that came out in clarification on the Justice side. I'm pretty sure, was that Justice? Or was that a different card? I feel like it was, no, it was the Angel. It was the Angel and the Bereaved, the Three of Swords and Temperance on the first thing that Aries season is bringing. And it's giving me that because that, like, in this incarnation, it could be all of this together. It could be something as simple as, like, when you were young, there was something that you used to really, really love. And maybe you've been away from it for so long that you forgot how much you used to love it. And now it's almost like you could get figuratively, you figuratively, take it as it resonates. But it's like the energy of getting paid to do the thing that you used to love as a kid. And it's the energy of like, what? I can do that, like, and sustain like I can do that for money. I can do that and get paid. I can do that and sustain myself. That thing that I love to do that I was so good at that had seemingly no use, that never benefited me in any kind of way ever. Now all of a sudden, like this knowledge, this information, this ability, this gift, this skill is like useful. Type energy. And I feel like with the cards that came out at the top of the deck, I feel like we would know that there's some importance or there's some significance here, even if it's just to us. But at the bottom of the deck, it's like it's a way bigger deal than we may necessarily think it is. But also, something like this could be related to the power of impacts. Like we can speak to someone and impact their day in a great way. And now, as they go about their day, they're in a position to impact someone. It's like this chain of events, this chain of positive impacts that like leads to something huge. It's like you didn't even know that the person that you exchanged a greeting with would one day come to be a humanitarian that does a bunch of stuff for a bunch of people all over the world, or a doctor or a medicine maker that pioneers some kind of new, effective, actually like not, you know, medical breakthrough that makes life whatever, or it's like it's like that type of thing. And even more so than that, it's like if someone has a parent, you know, like maybe their parent comes home that day, and to that child, like that's literally their whole world. Um, it's that type of it. It's just like the impact is so much. Like it feels like again, like we know that there's going to be an impact here, but it's so much bigger and so much larger than we may think. This Santa Muerte almost looks like it's happy. It almost looks like there's a smile. But the thing that I see most is like earth. Or there's like this earth type. It's blue, roughly round, and it has specks of green in it. Okay. And then there's like the smile. Almost like, I guess there's been an energy lately that was something like when I did the archetypes of place and the alchemy. There was a sustainer at the bottom of the deck where the Starborn came out, and the Queen and the Child were in reverse, and there was another card that was upright, I think. But that energy also came out when I read that first sleep day reading with the Crone. Like there's something that is waiting to be birthed on Earth. But it's like the time was never right, the environment was never right, humanity wasn't ready. It's like it's the hero that humanity has needed for maybe quite some time, but it's the hero that humanity wouldn't have allowed to mature into a hero. It's almost like if the energy would have come, it would have been it would have left before it reached maturity, or it would have been changed or corrupted or whatever before it reached the age to do what it was meant to do. Now, this may honestly just be something more like an idea. So, like, let's say that if the idea, it's like the easiest example is nuclear relations, where it's like our first global exposure to nuclear energy was as a weapon, was as an instrument of war. And then after that, I mean, I wasn't alive, so maybe it was before. But it's how like nuclear things are now associated with the weapon and like these and the potential looming threat of nuclear annihilation. When it could be something that could be used for like power, and like there are positive uses and applications of it, but the negative application was so big that it forever colors how we look at it. And it's almost like that, like the word, like if the idea were to come, it wouldn't necessarily have been used appropriately. This is starting to get a little weird. Honestly, I feel like there are things that I'm seeing in the cards lately that I'm just like, part of me is like, what is this? Part of me like can see the story playing out, and I'm just like, okay, do I say anything? Sometimes. And I guess you can't see what I see. So I should probably like take pictures more and like post them to the community page. Just so like the things that I'm not necessarily gonna read, if you want, like maybe you would see it in the cards. Cool. Two of Swords. I'm pretty sure the Two of Swords. I'm gonna check real quick. I'm pretty sure the Two of Swords is Moon, and the easiest way for me to check is to just use the SKT because Google sometimes sends me on wild goose chases. But I know I've seen Moon and Libra recently. Well, what's the Three of Swords? I don't know. Saturn and Libra. I knew that. I forgot. Yeah, the Two of Swords is Moon and Libra. So I'm going to look before and after the Two of Swords. And now this is all upside down, but that's fine. Or it's bottoms up, and that's okay. That is perfectly okay. See, but then maybe too, again, like that's this, the energy of justice here. Excuse me. It's like before something can be reborn, there's another, maybe it's the world. Maybe it's the collective heart of humanity that gets weighed against the feather. Maybe there's like some kind of collective worldwide judgment, justice process. And if we pass, then the energy is resurrected, then it comes back. And if we don't, then it doesn't. Then we continue the cycle. I don't know. I need to just have like one video where I let out all of the chili peppers. then I just move on. Oh, look, there's the Prince of Pentacles with the title card. There's a third prince. I'm pretty sure, no, we saw 3 queens. We saw every queen except for the Queen of Pentacles that was in the space of the Hermit. No, the Hermit came out. I remember it was Strength, the High Priestess, and some other cards. I don't know. I pulled them all out and I didn't take a picture, so it's fine. So the Two of Swords literally just flipped over. I only have 1 card left. I was shuffling and these were like literally the last 2 cards. The Two of Swords flipped over and then there's the card at the top. So I guess I'll take these 3. It's interesting that the Two of Swords reveals itself and these other 2 face down cards are face down. I guess bottom of the deck is the 7 of Cups. And the top of the deck came out with the Two of Swords. So I'm not going to pull another card because that is literally the top of the deck. Cool. I'm going to move these up. I'm going to move these UP. So I can put these down here. So the Sun and Aries energy remains the same. But now instead of Sun in Libra, it's Moon in Libra. I guess it's not super surprising that Moon and Libra cards will come out face down. It's not surprising because of all of the death that's around Libra energy. Even the Hanged Man and his hanged manness is fairly close to death. He's like literally hanging. He's kind of dying. But like for fun. Like when people were apparently doing the choking game. I don't know of anyone who personally did it, but I know there was the email chain. Does anyone else like remember the email chains like that moms supposedly got back in the 90s, I guess? It was like these chain emails of like what kids are doing. It's like first it was the dusting, the compressed air. Well, not first. One of the things was the compressed air cleaners for computers. There was the choking game where kids, I guess, or people would like choke each other to starve their brains of oxygen and then like unchoke so that they would get like an oxygen rush and it would be like a high. It's in these chain emails that apparently went out. I don't know. But again, I guess like I'm not surprised that these are face down because the Ten of Swords and the Hanged Man. Now, and just to note, this Two of Swords is the only card. Moon in Libra is the only thing that came out that didn't have a major arcana at the bottom of the deck. Also, I guess an interesting thing though is that it's the 7 of Cups. So if I put this above Sun in Aries, so if it was Moon in Libra, Sun in Aries, or Moon in Libra, Aries, and then the Sun, and then Libra, I guess. Moon in Libra, Aries, Sun, Libra. It would be 7 of Cups, the Lovers, which is a 6, the Hierophant, which is 5, and then Death, which is a 13-4. So it could be 7, 6, 5, 4. But because I put this under Justice, It's 6547. This is so interesting. Why is this interesting? Because these two cards are face down, it's like trying to play this chess game with pieces that are not revealed. It's like you don't know what you have, you don't know what your opponent has, you don't know the rules of the game, you don't know anything about anything. But it's like, is it Mao? Is that the game where Mao is a game where you basically figure out the rules of the game by learning what you get penalized for and what you don't get penalized for. And then the winner of every hand gets to introduce a new rule to the game, but you don't tell anybody what that rule is. Now, it's the type of game that you would either A, have to teach, because how else would you know the rules? Like, one person starts it and then other people play to know what the base rules are. Or you just have to trust the person who's like leading it. And if you incorrectly penalize someone, there's a penalty for false calls. So I remember Patrick Ben Patrick, I was playing the game with some of my residents when I was an RA. And somebody made a rule that if you played a one card, you had to say the number one in language, but you couldn't say the number in the same language. So I was playing with them, and it had to be like I was playing with them, and I picked up what, because it was his rule. I picked up what the rule was, but I didn't know how to say one in like more than 5 languages. So I made one up. I made one up, and he tried to challenge me on it. And I was like, okay, we could look it up. But if I'm wrong, you have to pay the penalty. You have to pay the penalty for trying to penalize me. Are you sure you want to penalize me? And he didn't. And I got away with it. So, but also, I know one in Russian, and I said it, and he didn't believe me. So I got away with it, but then it was actually, anyway. Why am I talking about Mal? Because of this. Because it's playing this game and you don't even have all the information. I guess it is an eclipse too. Full moon eclipse in Libra. I don't know if that makes it different. Oh, but because it is a full moon lunar eclipse, I'm not surprised that these energies are riding in on Libra. These, like, is this potentially a past life, or what is this? Energies that the world wasn't ready for, or this being a point of evaluation. Let's just flip them over. So before is the Ace of Wands. I don't think I've seen this ace. Wait, yeah. I saw the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Swords is here. I don't think I've seen the Ace of Cups. I don't think. This Ace of Wands is in the same position. So if this was like full moon Libra, it would be Judgment, the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands. The Emperor, the Sun, the Two of Swords, and then the Four of Wands, Four of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. Eight of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, yeah. What's interesting is this energy reads most similarly to the Sun. With the Prince of Wands, Four of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, something about that feels more like this to me. Or it feels more like the energy of Sun and Aries in general. The energy that came out with the Sun and Aries. Oh, I always forget these two cats are here. This time I actually noticed the white cat before I noticed the black cat. Last time I noticed the black cat first. And we did see the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands has a black cat. The Seven of Cups in this deck in particular is interesting because it doesn't necessarily give me the like options of the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups in this deck is almost could be not necessarily, but in a certain, I guess for a certain type of person, it could be an energy of like indulgences. It's almost giving like Rome in the days of Caligula, if you know what I mean. Um, but we've seen the Seven of Cups in the Corruptor recently. And again, it's not necessarily the case. This could just be like a communal type energy. I guess we do have the Queen of Cups up there. I'm trying to look and see if there's as much water as I've been seeing lately. I guess what's interesting about this is this full moon Libra energy, or moon, the energy of moon in Libra is almost asking a question. Like this is almost the belief that one's work and one's pleasure are completely separate. Like here is pleasure, just in general, desire in general. Here is what one has been working to build and what one has been working to establish and kind of societal norms. And with the Two of Swords, again, I mean, it is just a significator, but excuse me, it's also like it's this or that. And that's why the Seven of Swords now is reading as a certain, I don't want to say it, impiousness. But that's why it's almost reading more as like hedonism and indulgence. And again, it's interesting because with the sun, with the energy around the sun and the energy around Aries, like there's no question that these two things align. But with this full moon Libra energy, or with the moon and Libra energy, it's like it treats these two things as if it's not possible for them to like be one and the same. Like it's not possible to have work that you actually enjoy, or it's not possible to be able to make a living off of something that lights you up and that engages the heart. And I guess it's only weird because these are such opposite extremes. But maybe that's the point of the full moon. I don't know. And maybe it's only weird because I've also read this as like Sun in Libra. Now the Sun in Libra and the Moon in Libra are two completely, almost like they almost read as two completely different things, like almost non-comparable. Moon in Libra seems like it's more focused on the physical, like life, the cardinal. And it's not, I guess it's not surprising because it's a full moon in Aries season and it's spring, it's getting warmer. It's time for all kinds of activities. It ain't necessarily the summertime, but celebrating a long winter is finished and then maybe it chills out and then it warms back up in the summer. This is, I don't know, it's interesting. It's also interesting, it's not lost on me that in the Four of Pentacles, we have the person riding the elephant, and in the Eight of Pentacles, we see Lord Ganesha. But it's almost like this Four of Pentacles is a movement. I did it right. I was reaching for the right thing. I think I'm almost getting used to it. In the Four of Pentacles, this is an energy that moves. But in the Eight of Pentacles, this energy is a lot more stagnant. It's a lot more stationary. I don't want to say stagnant. It's a lot more stationary. This is almost like what happens when we deprive ourselves of something. Or this is what happens when we feel like we're depriving ourselves of something. Almost like it creates this backlash. I didn't necessarily think that this would be this long, but it's still not going to be 5 hours. So. Interesting. It's interesting that the energy, but maybe it's not interesting because the moon is the moon. It's not surprising that doubt or restriction or something that will reduce in momentum the speed of a manifestation or the truth of a reality. It's not surprising that the moon would have the power to dim or diminish it or to introduce confusion where there need not be. Because again, the energy of Sun and Libra, our Sun and Aries is so strong, like it all aligns. And maybe that's why this Prince of Wands set energy isn't giving me chaos. Because there's the recognition of the alignment. All of the chaotic energy of set comes out in this Seven of Cups. And this like overindulgence because the dark nights have been so dark and the winters have been so cold and so long. Like, let's throw free our whatever and just have a wild and crazy time. And of course, to each his own. But this seems more like it's in response to something. Like this is a response to suppression or repression. Now, again, like Sun and Libra energy, completely different. It's almost, again, it's like it's not even in the same arena. The moon and Libra energy is very much so in the arena of the Sun and Aries. But again, what Sun and Aries shows is possible, Moon and Libra doubts. So maybe I guess if there were advice to give for a full moon Libra, it would be, and like this person is thinking before they make a move, which for someone that doesn't know anything about anything is probably wise. Well, it can depend. I think sometimes there are times to act, and sometimes there are times to contemplate. Because if you're not going to know anything, until you make a move, it may be better to just make a move and then adjust, right? It's like playing a game that you're brand new to and it hasn't even started yet. But I do like that. Excuse me. I do like that it's considering, because I feel like that would be the advice. Like, it's almost like if we know where we are, it's different. So it's almost like the divine wouldn't, the universe wouldn't lead us to two things to have us choose one from the other. Like there's an impression upon me, I guess, like reading it, especially because I've already read Sun and Aries. There's an impression like these two things are supposed to work together. So if the Two of Swords is like taking a moment to see how like these two things could possibly work together, rather than going, screw it, I'm just gonna go and do whatever until somebody else figures this out, or like it'll work itself out. I'm gonna go and have a good time. Again, nothing wrong with having a good time. Girls just want to have fun. But there is something with a lot of potential with Sun and Aries. And again, the potential that we feel of it, it's just the drop in the bucket compared to the magnitude of the impact of like what's going on or what can go on. Like this could be either big ideas being had or big ideas beginning to like come into fruition. And like maybe there have been talks for a while. And during all those talks, there's more and more information and more things that have been acquired that play to the strengths of whatever. So it can be like a better sell. But yeah, and then Sun and Libra is just doing Sun and Libra was no. What was Osiris associated with? Does anyone know? A god of fertility and the embodiment of the dead and resurrected king. So he was a god of fertility. Fertility, agriculture, the afterlife, the dead, resurrection, life, and vegetation. Love to see masculine energy associated with life and fertility, just for the representation of it. Because I was going to mention the sun for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, Sun in Libra is given real like Sun in Libra is bringing an element of a knowing of something in the past that supports the fact that two things can work together. So it's almost like Sun in Libra is supporting it. Sun in Libra is like evidence to prove that two things can harmoniously, simultaneously coexist and not be opposing forces or working against each other. But it comes from something that is atypical or something that would easily be seen as a failure of the past or a shortcoming of the past because of the death and the Ten of Swords. That's like a failure from the past. The Hangman is something peculiar, almost like a niche. I don't know. Anyway, At least that's one way to read this. Again, something about reading this as Sun also in Libra instead of Moon in Libra gives this like a completely different flavor. It's almost like Moon in Libra locks it to the land. But I guess like that is the lunar eclipse energy. It's when the moon passes through the Earth's shadow. And so the light of the sun reflected off of the moon is colored by the shadow of Earth. Five of Swords is at the bottom of the deck for the last thing, and then the Seven of Swords is there. And you can literally see the solar eclipse. This is weird. This is when I pulled for, and then there's the Prince of Pentacles. So now we've seen all four princes. All the princes are here. Like there's something about this full moon Libra eclipse when we look at it as moon in Libra that seems almost so like dark. Again, I guess I'm not surprised because it's the moon there instead of a sun, but it just like reads us completely different. I don't know. Almost like it's a completely different energy. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I should look at it on a lumen scale, like on a measure of luminosity. How bright the moon is on the brightest of super full moons compared to how bright the sun is on the rainiest or cloudiest of days. Because on the dreariest of days, oftentimes it's still brighter than it is at night. I don't know. I'm gonna get a final card. Yeah, Silent Libra got this like weird. I'm like, what? What's all this reincarnation, rebirth, mystical, whatever? And then Moon in Libra is just like, oh, Ten of Pentacles and the Emperor. It's interesting how this Ten of Pentacles is almost similar in all of the people that we see depicted, and I guess even in the water. How similar it almost is to the Seven of Cups, but how completely different it is. But again, it's like that Ten of Pentacles is like, there's a joy in that Ten of Pentacles that speaks to where the heart and the mind align, where we walk forward with purpose, but also desire. And we have that fulfillment in like a sustainable way, in a way that can sustain us in some degree, shape, form, and or fashion. Okay, final card from the Apocalypse. Anything beyond that, girl, I have no idea. We get the Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles. The Hermit and the Queen of Pennies. Oh my gosh, not the hand henna. I had an opportunity, I guess I had an opportunity to get like henna when I was in India, and I didn't do it because it wouldn't have been dry and I had to use my iPad. So my friend was like, "You didn't get it done?" I was like, "No, I didn't have time. You told me 2:00. I didn't see this man until 6. With all the time I had, I could have, but I was on standby. Anyway, it's fine. These are our final cards. The Queen of Pentacles and the Hermit. Who is this? Virgo. Excuse me, sorry. Virgo and Capricorn energies. Cardinal Earth and Virgo. Have I ever noticed that this is this woman's breath? Who is this? Oh, we saw the owl with the queen. Oh, this is the queen that we didn't see yesterday. The Queen of Pentacles. We didn't see the ebony shield. We saw the ivory shield, the golden shield, and the scarlet shield. The breath of the hermit creates that stuff. Sometimes I see it as like the spirit of a dragon that is reaching towards the brightest star in the sky. And then there's her sacred instrument, the drum. This drum is almost giving me moon today. Maybe it's because it almost looks like it has like craters and stuff. This is so interesting. Excuse me, I guess it's interesting that we see the owl with this Queen of Pentacles because I saw the owl. We saw the owl with the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Air. And then on the Queen of Earth, the Queen of Pentacles was the butterfly. And that's when that was in the wisdom, that was in knowledge, wisdom, perception, intuition. Because I was like, what's the perception check? Oh, look, there's a star. It was 17. We had to beat a 17. 17 is the star, and her breath is somehow connected or connecting to that star. So this is meeting that perception check. But now the owl is here. That meant something. I forget what it was. Excuse me. Ooh, girl, not staring at me. Not looking at me. Here she is. This is Lakshmi, goddess of fortune and prosperity. Duh. Oh, wait, what? You must be part of the flow of fortune to receive it, is the last sentence. Here's wisdom. What's this say about wisdom? Upon my bosom you will find the wealth of nourishment, victory, and courage. Here, okay, I'll read it again because the commas. Hereupon, or upon my bosom, you will find the wealth of nourishment, victory and courage, wisdom and knowledge, wealth of resources, and of a never-ending line. I ask only that you remember this. Power is like a river that flows ever downstream, carrying it with it the richness of life. It cannot move faster than it knows. It cannot be forced into a place it does not seek. Like water, power can devastate and it can nourish. It can kill and it can heal. It can become stagnant and it can be pure. It cannot be held too tightly, for it will be lost in the grasping. You do not own power. It flows through you and from you, and true power nurtures the strength of others. I long to see you flourish and grow, to see you live in this world, and I know that you will die in it and return to the earth, to me, where you shall serve others in their nourishment. Nothing is destroyed. There is only a steady cycle of matter changing form. Therefore, I am also the queen of gratitude. I am the bringer of the bountiful harvest and the sweetest luxuries of the earth. Turn away the request of others, and I shall be deaf to your pleas. Give graciously and abundantly, and you will receive riches of great worth. You must be part of the flow of fortune to receive it. Cool. And it's with the hermit beating the drum. The drum was also, there were two drums, the black drum and the white drum, I believe. And the destroyer ten of swords. Yes, I'm talking about it again. And in that destroyer two of swords, it was about purifying the vessel in order to receive a divine gift. We have the breath of the hermit that's connecting to that star. A part of the grand flow of things that we hold not too tightly to. Cool. There you go. Bottom of the deck is, did I already reveal it? No, bottom of the deck is the Ten of Wands. It's a man pulling a pyramid, an entire pyramid all by himself. Not Hercules over here showing off. There are 9 wands at the top and an ace of wands here. This is like an indomitable will. Hey, Holly. This is like an indomitable will. One of my favorite things to do, one of my favorite things to observe in a deck is the Nine of Wands card. And I'll look at the person on the Nine of Wands card and basically their attitude. The Nine of Wands in the Witch's Tarot is one of my favorites because she ain't got a bruise on her. Standing watch is light work. Like, she could stand watch for centuries more. On some decks, they like real beat up. On some decks, they are on their last leg. They are on their knees because the last leg then gave out. But because this Ace of Wands stands against these 9, this is like a passion or desire. This is a fire that's greater than the size of the burden. And of course, that's giving me Flaming Fist, the Flaming Fist background in the Dungeons and Dragons Magic the Gathering cards. I'll just find it and read it for you real quick. There's 2 of them in here now. Oh, it's right here. You carry the security of Baldur's Gate on your shoulders, and you welcome the weight of the responsibility. And you welcome the weight of responsibility. It's this card. To stand proudly welcoming the weight of responsibility. And to me, I guess that doesn't have to be necessarily a thing, but there are certain things that when we manifest and when we call for, it comes with a certain amount of responsibility. And to crumble under the weight of that responsibility, or to be in a position where we don't want to bear that responsibility, but we want to have all of the rights to power that the responsibility comes with, is just like interesting. Not interesting. Excuse me. Oh, look, there's the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is behind the Ten of Wands. Just like how the Ace of Swords and the Ten of Swords came out together. This is part of the burden of that responsibility. Or this is part of the burden of the power that we may seek to manifest and create with. It's almost like, in a certain type of way, it's almost like having a pet. Like if we ask the divine for a pet, then we have to take on responsibility for caring for, nurturing, and feeding that pet, which is almost like the energy of that Queen of Wands. Like if we ask for the flowers or if we ask for whatever, it isn't necessarily entirely unreasonable for us to be the ones that have to maintain it. Like it's powered and it's fueled by us because it's what we ask for. And it's like that's different than like if someone were just to have a dog, right? Like if your neighbor has a dog and your yards join, and it's almost like your neighbor's dog then kind of sort of becomes like your dog, but since it's not your dog, you don't have to feed it, you don't have to take it out for walks, you don't have to make sure it goes to the bathroom. It's like you can play with the dog when you want to play with the dog, but none of the responsibility because it's not your dog. You just get to like enjoy the benefits of it because it's communal, I guess, with that Seven of Cups, Ten of Pentacles energy. But when it's yours, you have to take care of it. And this is someone who, again, the fire of desire burns in them greater than the weight of the burden. And so there are many things that they can do superhuman feats easily, naturally. Ace of Wands, because it's worth it to them. They find the strength. Cool. And then again, we have this shaman beating the drum. Also, we have Lakshmi there. This is the person that shows up and bears the weight of all of that. That Lakshmi was like, if you want the abundance and if you want the power and you want it, you have to let it flow just like anything else. So cool. There we go. I hope y'all have amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way you find. And I hope that you allow yourself to see the truth of where you are and who you are and what you are. So that when it comes to you navigating your life, you can do so with more clarity. You can at the very least, know the cards in your hand or the pieces on your side of the board as you're playing whatever game life has you playing. Because we may not ever necessarily know someone else's motives, intentions, or the intentions and motives of the divine and the universe at large. But at least if we have clarity within ourselves, then we know that much. And we can manage the rest from there. So, goodbye.